and delegates. I, Dr. Avantika Batish, Director Strategy and Healthcare with iHelp India.
And I, Nimisha Singh, Masters in Hospital Administration, right now pursuing my MPH from US with almost 7 years of experience in healthcare, are host for this event. We feel privileged to welcome you all with immense joy on behalf of InnovatioCuris and Indiattitude to InnoHEALTH 2017, a two-day conference on innovations in healthcare management where leaders and young innovators from across the world will share their experience and innovation models for delivering high-quality healthcare at optimum cost. According to famous innovation management author Tom Peters, innovation comes from readily and seamlessly sharing information rather than holding on to it. It is on occasions like this we look forward to get exposure and opportunities to share our ideas and innovative models and learn from the best of the brains.
To get this two-day conference started, we would begin with our inaugural session. I invite all the dignitaries to come on the dais and occupy their distinguished chairs. I invite Lieutenant General Manoj Kumar Unni, PVSM, AVSM, VSM, PHS, DGAFMS, Senior Colonel Commandant of AMC. Professor Anil Kumar Gupta, Visiting Faculty, IIM Ahmedabad, and founder of Honeybee Network. His Excellency Riho Kruuv, Estonian Ambassador to India, Myanmar, Singapore, and Sri Lanka. Estonia is President of European Council. Admiral V.K Singh, Managing Director, InnovatioCuris. Mr. Amit Saroj, CEO, Indiattitude. I now request Admiral V.K Singh to please set the tone of the conference.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is rather unfortunate that people don't turn up in time, and we need to break this culture anyway. People from the foreign country and defense people have come, in spite that others are still missing. We have more than 300 registrations, incidentally. Anyway, to cut the story short, I welcome the dignitaries on the dais. General Unni is a paratrooper, commando, doctor, super specialist, and from AFMC, which is also my alma mater. I'm also paratrooper, incidentally. Professor Gupta is, well, you know the speaker's profile. I'm not going into detail, but he's a national international figure. He walks around everywhere to find the young innovators. Nagaland, now is going to Kashmir Valley, take them to President House, and host them there. His Excellency, already you know that he is there for so many countries, and he has been really, as a European Union, we are doing this project. He has been big support to us to push this European Union project in this particular. Amit is the CEO, and he looked after the all logistic, and we are partnering with it. Amitabh Kant has, as usual, you know, the bureaucrats and politicians, they generally get caught in the last minute. So he will be coming. Maybe he'll be joining late. If he doesn't come in inaugural time, he has committed that he will still give his 10-minute talk, because that's important to us. Innovation he handles at the top highest level in Niti Aayog, and he says what are the avenues which are available. Our concern was how to deliver the optimum cost. It can never be affordable cost. I keep telling the WHO. What is affordable to me, not on the street fellow. Every delivery has some cost, and I must reduce how this cost can be reduced by process, by lean theories, by all other methods and technologies. In view of this, after I quit my uniform, I decided I started an International Institute Health Management Research. I was picked up at the Prime Minister's office to write disaster manual. I was advisor there. And ultimately, I never thought I'll do something like this. It is when in IIT Kharagpur, I was giving on a science day, research day, I was talking. And one of the students in lunchtime, after 1.5 hour talk, he said, you speak well, you write well, I have read your book, published in US. But very difficult to do on ground, which I agree. All my professors are sitting in an air-conditioned cabin, but they can't do it. And then I realized what he says is right. So I found a person with double master in cybersecurity, etc., more than a dozen patents, and then in Gujarat did something which got national award. And that was how IC was born 2 years back. And we decided there should be created a knowledge platform by creating all these activities and ultimately take this forward to the last mile. Because the Indian population, as per World Bank figure, 40% get only $1 a day. Now, what is that affordability and last mile, and how do we do it? And ultimately, what we really have to do, we have to innovate. So we conduct the complimentary webinar. We bring out the magazine you already have. You can pick up from the counter if you wish to. Please do write. It is not a journal, British Medical Journal. I am a referee of that. But do write your experiences to share with everyone. We have created an innovator club under one roof. Day after we have meeting on that. We created a training for Ministry of Defense and the Border Security Force on cyber security. Now we are taking to the health sector, because the day we gave complimentary webinar, next day there was cyber attack. And since my partner was highly qualified, we thought we'll take that also forward. So this is just knowledge awareness platform. We want to take, with the Professor Gupta's help, to grassroots innovation. That's why Sachin, my number 2, has walked around to Nagaland, etc. We found a good partner, Indiattitude, and we are good. Amit is good friend and partner. He holds hand. So while we concentrate on all the technical part, he looks after the logistical part. India, with all the innovation and the buzzword, people are talking about innovation. You find property dealer is also innovator, and everybody is writing, and you will be surprised. One of the university, when I was talking, when I used different words, reverse innovations, innovation, and all inventions, even master's student was not able to say what innovation is, though everybody uses this word. It has become more buzzword because ecosystem, and Prime Minister wants to take it forward, very rightly so. And there's the right time that there's so much of funding available that there are not much takers. And that is what I requested Amit Kant. And next time we are also now putting people together, and many organizations by next year will be with us to do so. I welcome all the delegates, all my friends, all sponsors, all people on the dais, and also there is one person who was my teacher, and there are a couple of them who were my students. So you can say 3 generation people are here, etc. Amit Kant will join us a little later. India, in last 2 years, has, in Global Innovation Index, has from 81 is come 60 ranking. Well, there's much more to be done. Vietnam has become 70, this is in 2012, it was 76, today is 47. So when we shake hand with the people, we are doing something how best we can bring everybody together. And that is what one has to really take a cue. Innovation is not very old. I have referred it quite back in my book. 3,600 years back, Aryabhata mathematicians have brought innovation zero. Meditation, nil, no infection rate, etc. Very difficult to achieve. Put on the right side of a figure, it becomes billion and millions. And that is the power of zero. You might have seen this kind of innovation and power of zero on the TV, on so many things, etc. I am really grateful that my dignitary on dais and all of these other people are here, and we are interested not only lectures. There's only one lecture session, the rest all panel discussion. I am also grateful to the two young ladies who have volunteered to be MC. They are not professional, but this is the passionate. They are with the innovation. They have written in the magazine. They have written in the innovation book, which I handled. Thank you very much once again, and we'll have useful 2 days, and I am again grateful to people on dais. Unni, who was on leave, has put on a uniform and come because of our request. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I would now take the opportunity to invite Lieutenant General Manoj Kumar Unni for the special address. Sir.
Professor Dr. V.K. Singh, who's been my senior in the Armed Forces and as well as a senior from the Armed Forces Medical College. Ladies and gentlemen, it's indeed an honor for me to be here today, and I thank Dr. V.K. Singh for having invited me for this very progressive session on innovations. As we know that innovations is the cornerstone of any advancement, be it medical sciences, astronomy, engineering, any field for that matter, it is innovations which takes us forward. And medical sciences is no exception. And we as scientists and doctors must acknowledge this fact. With the scientific and technological advancements of the past century, the days of discovery in the medical field are largely over. Inventions, however, will help garner new technologies to overcome emerging challenges the world is facing. For medical sciences, the scope of these challenges are wide-ranging, from policy, funding, diagnostics, provision of optimal healthcare, affordability and insurance models, human resource skilling, ethical use of genetic techniques, to just name a few. Necessity, as they say, is the mother of invention. Foundation of all invention is research, which in turn is based on serious observation of the existing systems and thinking out of the box, and to break out from that straitjacket of status quo. India has been the crucible of invention. The concept of zero as a number, not merely a symbol of an empty space for separation, is attributed to the great Indian scholar Pingala, who in the 2nd century BC or earlier used the Sanskrit word shunya explicitly to refer to zero. The decimal system has also been part of ancient Indian mathematics. Indian inventions have influenced the quality of life for people of the world, be it the stepwell or the flush toilet, which were in use since the Indus Valley civilization. The finely crafted rulers which were calibrated to 1/16th of an inch, the crucible and the wood steel which used nanomaterials and were in use in southern India as early as 200 BC. Chaturanga, the precursor of chess, originated in this country during the Gupta dynasty. The words of chess in Old Persian and Arabic are chatrang and shatranj, respectively. So India has seen a lot of inventions, innovations through the ages in all fields. And therefore, having this conference here today would be just the right step forward to see how we can introduce more and more innovations in healthcare delivery, medical research, medical education, etc. Even in the modern era we have, India has, microwave communication was first demonstrated in India. It will be of immense interest to all of us that a bacteria called the Pseudomonas putida, which was again invented by a Bengali inventor, which breaks down crude oil. So even in recent times, such great innovations in all fields have been witnessed in this country. So it is just appropriate to have such a conference in New Delhi, the capital of this great country. In recent decades, we are witness to medical innovations for healthcare provision and funding which is at an affordable cost. Prime example is a model which has been propounded by Dr. Devi Shetty of Narayan Hridayalaya. We in the armed forces are using tablet-based health monitoring systems for our soldiers deployed in isolated posts at the high-altitude areas. The use of cooling vests for prolonged and improved human performance in hot environments for the deserts, the tarmacs and the ship engine rooms have been already well accepted. The simple innovation of an improved backpack for the soldiers has enhanced the carriage capacity and reduced the incidence of low back injuries. The stretcher bed is another example of innovation. The ubiquitous Hapo bag, which is a lifesaver at high altitude, now can be used for prolonged durations without being inflated manually. One of our young ophthalmologists in the armed forces has recently come out with an innovation of angled dialer and chopper to be used in phacoemulsification cataract surgery. I'm not contesting the fact that a large number of major innovations will come out of only dedicated R&D facilities, but the seeds are sown from the problems and the difficulties arising out of our daily practice of medicine, where we face the practicalities and how we can improve upon these. I appreciate that the organizers for having arranged these scientific sessions which deal with a wide range of issues concerning all of us, be it affordable healthcare, public health, biotech, and the healthcare beyond hospitals. I encourage all the participants to fully indulge themselves in this scientific feast. Let the best minds come together to take up the challenge of our ultimate goal, Sarve Santu Niramaya. Let everybody be free from disease. The possibilities, of course, are endless. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you for the words of wisdom, sir. I consider it a great honor to welcome Professor Anil Kumar Gupta for the keynote address.
Good morning, friends, all the distinguished colleagues on the dais and scholars, practitioners, entrepreneurs, healthcare policymakers. 30 years ago, when we started Honeybee Network, one of the concerns that I had in my mind was that there is a tremendous amount of creativity in our society which remains untapped. How do you link innovations in the formal sector with the innovations in informal sector? And in the process, we discovered tremendously rich insights. For instance, 60% women in our country are anemic. In many parts more, some parts less. Cooking one food in iron vessel would resolve this issue. Iron vessels have gone away from our, cooking pots have gone away from our homes. Even iron ladle has gone away, now the non-stick ladle has come. Because sometimes the solutions are extremely affordable, extremely accessible, easily available, therefore they get less appreciation. Paradox. So there are two domains of innovation. One is material, method, and applications. At least one of the three should be new. For instance, aspirin, well-known compound used for headache. When it was discovered that it could also can be used as a blood thinner, that became a new application of a known compound manufactured by a known method. That's an innovation. So it is not necessary that we have to invent something new in terms of materials. It could be new methods, it could be new application. Very simple metrics to remember and very simple way of challenging ourselves to find new solutions to the problem that we have lived with. Look at the other side. Accessibility, affordability, availability, and adaptability. Supply chain. You have a wonderful solution. It is affordable, but not available in the primary health center. What will I do with the solution then? So we need to have all the four concomitants of a solution to be ensured for an innovation to become actually a problem-solving solution for available solution for our society. Both these domains require different skills. The second part requires supply chain managers, supply chain logistics people, as Amit is, who makes everything fall in place. And the first part requires material scientists, the pharmaceutical scientists, the doctors, and everybody else. What are the key challenges in healthcare sector which we need to pay attention? The first challenge I want to draw our attention is big data. I was giving the Foundation Day lecture at PGI Chandigarh last year, and they get 10,000 patients every day. What happened to the data of these patients? Do we analyze it? Do we see combination of indications which tend to occur more often than others? In certain regions, they get patients from several states. So if I want to map the indications for which patients have come at different age groups, in different gender, I could get tremendously rich insight about the nature, the epidemiological perspective on the disease, and the way they respond to different prescriptions. We are not analyzing this data. I've been to large number of hospitals, large number of places, asked the same question, medical institute, same problem. We have huge data which we are not analyzing. Future lies in big data. A lot of discoveries, a lot of innovations will come through big data. We cannot ignore it anymore. First challenge. And this applies to all disciplines. So for example, if we have emergency, a lot of people are getting wounded, our soldiers are getting wounded, and we want to see why some soldiers are responding faster to the same indication than others. Obviously, there are factors which are there in the physiology that influence recovery rates. Have we analyzed the data? Can we do that? Can we use that data to become more frugal in our prescriptions and more efficient in our healthcare system? One challenge. Second, the linkage between the ecosystem and the healthcare system. I have looked at the data on micronutrient deficiency in our soil. Soil deficient in zinc, boron, manganese, magnesium, etc. And now what do you make of this data? The grains that food that we eat is grown on the soils which are deficient in certain micronutrients. This deficiency is transported right through my body. So I did a study, took help of healthcare workers, 8,000 households were surveyed. I did a study of soil health, plant health, animal health, and human health. Took 30 doctors and specialists, all volunteers, finished this study in the last 3 years with all protocols. What was the intention? The intention was to find out villages with high chronic diseases and villages with low chronic diseases. Can I explain that to some extent through mineral profile? Why? If you have, in our philosophy we say, Jaisa an, Vaisa man, Vaisa tan. As you eat, so shall you think, so shall you live. We have had this relationship established in our consciousness long time ago. Healthy food, healthy life. But as a healthcare system, have we therefore used it for preventive healthcare so that we know which soils are going to be deficient in boron? If they are deficient in boron, the arthritic epidemic is bound to occur there because it's indicated there. So can we not then therefore provide micronutrient supplement to the soil, which is the least cost method of delivering these to the people at large? So there is a need for ecosystems from where our food emerges, from where these nutrients come into our body and therefore cause various imbalances, good or bad. Too much selenium can cause problem, too little also can cause problem. So how do we link? Linus Pauling, the famous Nobel laureate who got 2 Nobel Prizes, had once said that you can trace all human ailments to the mineral proportions in the body, in the system. So there is a long research tradition of this kind, and perhaps this is one neglected area of healthcare which we should pay attention. And that brings me to the third issue, which is very serious. You know, we have communicable disease monitoring, but we don't have primary health center-wise data of chronic diseases. There is no surveillance of chronic disease data. We are diabetes capital of India. We are the capital of so many diseases. And yet, if you want to look at hotspots of the areas where certain diseases occur more so that I can target my healthcare professionals, specific training, specific healthcare solutions to those hotspots and provide our people a better way of living and better way of doing their work, I cannot do that. There are surveys which are done, but surveys are sample surveys. You may do it for 10,000 people, 20,000 people. That will give you some understanding of the phenomena, but will not provide us an operational framework to target our solutions. Third problem, that we must therefore create an urgent monitoring system right from primary health center, block level, district level. For the whole country, we should map the chronic disease because that's becoming a huge drain on our exchequer. One bad health episode, 5 years savings of a poor person are lost. So it's very important, therefore, to pay attention to this. Fourth challenge that we have. You know, it's often that we talk about diseases, we talk about problems when we talk about healthcare. What about people who are healthy? My dear friend Srinath, Public Health Foundation chief, once we were having a debate, and I asked Srinath, do you come across healthy people? Because only sick people come to doctors. So how do you explain health? Now, do we have maps of communities which have the least load of diseases and ailments and therefore could give us clue as to how to remain healthy? Health is not absence of sickness. Health is more than that. Health is about well-being. It's about a state of relationships. It is quite possible that if you do social network, kinship network mapping, you might find that those communities which are well connected have less load of lot of stresses and therefore are healthier. Quite possible. It's a hypothesis we can establish and therefore advise that please do call your kins once a week, if not once a day, and that's a very good way to remain healthy. So we need to do systematic studies of health hotspots, healthy hotspots, not just disease hotspot. Sixth point, I would like now shift to some of the technological challenges which we need to pay attention to. For last 3 years, we have been organizing at Festival of Innovation at Rashtrapati Bhavan a roundtable on medical devices, biotechnological solutions, and so on. Now, there are 3 dimensions to medical devices. One, first of all, India is emerging as a very hotbed for innovations in this area. A lot of good ideas are coming up. Diagnostics, point-of-care solutions. We have 900 million mobile phones. Till recently, we had hardly any device that people could use to monitor their blood quality or health status and so on. But now, a lot of young people have come up with hemoglobin testing systems, oxygen testing systems, a lot of other systems that are being developed. A student in Tejpur University, IFTAC, developed a small spectrophotometer which can be linked to your mobile phone, and you can put a drop of a blood with a small reagent and do a spectral analysis using the image processing software in the phone. So a lot of interesting things are happening where we need to pay attention, we need to create mentor. I'm extremely happy, Dr. Singh, your platform can help these young inventors and innovators by linking them with different institutions. I was so happy to hear from General about the one first stall that we have of a labile system, the healthcare system where Army has put them in all of their field stations. I mean, such a great encouragement to an entrepreneur, to a startup of this kind. If Army could only become a great patron of early stage discoveries, sir, you could be the unsaid, unrecognized, but a great mentor of innovations in our country because you want action, you believe in action, and you lead from the front. This is a good example of how that innovator, that entrepreneur has one of the grantee of BIREC in DBT, and I'm so happy that at early stage he got a breakthrough. They provide tests at very low cost in mobile, motorcycle-based ambulance and other systems. So there is a need for linking such startups, such entrepreneurs, particularly in medical device, but also other areas of diagnostics, with the large public systems which can procure them and provide a great fillip to the innovation through public procurement. So the public procurement as a driver of innovation is extremely important. And that is linked to the standards, that our standard, Bureau of Indian Standard, must create urgently committees to create standards which are suitable for our innovations, so that our innovations can get procured by the public agency. Without standards, they will not get approval of the regulatory agencies. Without approval, they will not be procured. So we need to really bridge this gap between innovation, standards, regulation, and procurement, and that will be a great fillip. Let me come to the last 2 points of where the challenges are. We have to appreciate that open innovation is becoming a way of life. When Tesla opened all its patents, it created a new wave in innovation movement. We had been told for such a long time, and I had been teaching that subject for a long time, that innovations need to have protection of IPR, which of course they need in many cases. But how can open innovation be the powerful driver of innovation movement? The reason was very simple. If you want to expand markets and if you want more people to make electrical cars, they would only be able to do that if they had access to the advanced technology of batteries that Tesla was leader in. And Tesla felt that, look, I want charging stations all over for my cars to be sold, but I need not be the only car manufacturer. Let there be 100 more. The whole ecosystem should grow. So therefore, there are new models that are emerging where we can hybridize open source with patents if necessary. In our National Innovation Foundation, we have a system called as Technology Commons, where people-to-people copying is allowed and encouraged, but people-to-firm is through licensing. So you can have best of both the worlds. We can make innovations open access to people for their survival. At the same time, when an industry wants to manufacture, you can get a licensing done. So we need to develop models which are suitable for our conditions and will encourage access of people, particularly disadvantaged people, the poor people, to the health solutions at low cost, and at the same time provide incentives to the industry to invest in these solutions. About the patents, let me also add a small point here. I analyzed all the patents in USPTO by Indians and Chinese in the last 26 years. It's very interesting that Chinese licensed 50% of their 43,000 patents till 2013 to Chinese, 50% are licensed to Chinese. Indian diaspora and Indians who file patents in US, hardly 1/3 are licensed to Indians. So the connections between the global community of Indians and other nationalities, how do they transfer knowledge globally to the local hotbeds of innovation is also a very important issue which we need to think of when we talk about the ecosystem for innovation. And let me conclude by bringing out a dimension which is very close to my heart about grassroots innovations. You know, in the entire Himalayan region, you have stinging nettle, sir. Stinging nettle grows like a weed all over. It's a plant which if you touch on the skin, it will cause irritation, it will cause allergy. And if it pierces your skin, then you have boils. They go away in 24 hours, but they irritate you for a long time. This is one of the most effective solution for cuts and wounds. You just crush it and put it in the wound as such, crude, and you will find the wound healing faster than any other solution, any other medicine that's available. So our soldiers use it, and other people use it. Now, why wouldn't we pay attention to knowledge system of our society at the community level, at the grassroots level, and make extremely affordable and extremely do-it-yourself solutions? So we can have small solutions, small steps of processing by which we can make it available to a large number of people. But even those which are available as a crude, why shouldn't we make it known to people so that they can improve their quality of life and solution to their problem without having to have very complicated things? So India must evolve its own model of both open access solutions, do-it-yourself solutions, where ethical issues are not involved, where no life and death issues are involved, and where science can back up those solutions with very sophisticated, very high-tech solutions that are produced in our labs and in our hospitals and other places where solutions can come from. Let us also remember that when I did the analysis of Indian patents in healthcare, large number of inventions are done by surgeons. It's very interesting, not by other disciplines of medicine. Because when they are dealing with the body, they are facing a constraint. And when they face a constraint for laparoscopic or other ailments, they need to find a device which solves that problem and saves their time in providing that care. So it's not surprising, therefore. Even globally, 60% of the healthcare innovation in the field of devices have come from surgeons. So I think we need to recalibrate the educational system of the doctors and introduce to them the idea that they can also be doctors, can also be designers. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening us. It is my pleasure now to invite His Excellency Riho Kruuv, the guest of honor, to address the gathering. Sir.
Good morning, everyone. Admiral V.K Singh, Lieutenant General Manoj Kumar Unni, Dr. Anil Gupta, Dr. Amit, Saroj, organizers of the event, contributors, and audience, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me a great pleasure to address such a distinguished audience in capacity of Ambassador of Estonia to India and also representative of the country partner for this conference. As the presidency of the Council of the European Union for the second half of this year, I'm very pleased to see 9 EU innovative companies from Finland, Sweden, and Estonia participating in this conference under Central Baltic Health Access Projects, which is actually a cooperation venture of health, e-health, and life sciences clusters of Estonia, Finland, Latvia, and Sweden. This project is funded by European Union, and as the presidency of the European Union, I'm very pleased that boosting innovation and digitization has been one of our priorities for our presidency. Tonight at 6 p.m. there will be a business-to-business meeting and cocktail reception for participants of this conference. So you can actually meet there all these 9 companies and to hopefully create partnerships. But I think we shouldn't wait till 6 p.m. to get this interaction going, and therefore I would be pleased to ask those 9 representatives of those 9 companies to raise up for a moment and show yourself to the audience so that our Indian companies can also contact you during the tea break or lunch. So let's get this business happening. I'm very proud to be representative of Estonia as a country partner for this conference, Innovation in Healthcare, because Estonia as a country is all about innovation and fast adaptation of new technologies. And we see it in every field of life. We didn't invent internet in Estonia, but our country is using it to the maximum, at least in health sector. We started as a country when we regained our independence 26 years ago, and I think now Estonia is one of the few countries in the world that can call itself a digital society. Most of the services, both in government level and business level, are provided now by using digital means. And in Estonia, we even have a joke that there are only 3 things that you cannot do with your digital identity. And one is to get married, the second is to get divorced, and the third is to sell your real estate. So the rest you can do with your digital identity and using your digital card, digital ID card. Of course, when we talk about digital services, particularly in healthcare, strong protection of data, both personal data and the data of service providers, and high attention to cybersecurity come without saying. For Estonia, digitization in healthcare is a new normal now. We take it as a natural thing to happen. We do it using X-Road platform, which gives operational efficiency and secure exchange of data between servers. 99.9% of prescriptions now in Estonia are issued in digital form. It is not just to save paper. It is making easier for patients to get their medicine in drugstores, and it also helps to create a link with healthcare fund, with helping them to plan the health trends and providing health services better. This system also allows family doctors to take a look at the influence or the content of the drug before they prescribe it, making sure that this drug that they prescribe does not interfere with other drugs that the person is already taking. So it helps to save both money and make sure that instead of doing some good to the person, something bad happens. It is also, health data is also linked to the e-health portal, which gives a patient and the doctor to the information about the data about the patient. But it is not that the patient is losing control of his data or the data gets stolen. In Estonia, people or the patient is the king of its data. They can control who has been watching their data, what has been the outcome of the last testing that they did in a doctor's place. And it also gives the doctors an access to the health data of the patient, of course, on the permission given by the patient to get better view of the problems, the health issues that the patient might have. The system also allows to use the e-ambulance, which gives doctors an ability to get information about the patient's health situation, the drugs that the patient is taking, even before he will be hospitalized, allowing it to get speedier care and making sure that no time is wasted on unnecessary testing. Besides digitalization, Estonia has been quite unique in terms of developing the nationwide genome bank. We're pretty good in genomics. We were second after Iceland to create the nationwide genome bank in Estonia, and I'm very pleased that one of the founders of this genome bank and genome project in Estonia, Dr. Jaanus Pikani, is here today as well. Maybe Jaanus, you show yourself to others as well. So if you want to learn more about Estonian genomics and genome project, this is the man to talk with. Right now we have 4% of our population as donors in the genome bank, and I'm myself proud of being one of them. We have 52,000 genome maps now for our people. And every donor has now like a card with their genome data, which gives us an opportunity to use the tools of personalized medicine, which is to give the individual feedback for the patient. What are his or her health risks, and what are the medicines that he or she might take, and what are the medicines to avoid? Because people in this room know very well that one medicine is not good for everyone. We see it a major step forward in terms of treating cardiovascular diseases and cancer. Particularly breast cancer has been in our focus. And we hope that gradually we can move from mammographic research to genetic ones, helping to save time in case the there is a risk of cancer, which, as you know, is very critical. But to talk about future cooperation between Estonia and India, I think there are a couple of things that come to my mind at this time. One being that there are 3.2 family doctors per 1,000 patients in Estonia now, and as much as I know, the number for India is 0.7. So actually, both of our countries have lack of first-level healthcare or the family doctors. So maybe there's an opportunity to develop telemedicine solutions so that our doctors can interact and see how they can work together to provide better health services for our people. And it goes both ways, actually. And also, taking the advantage of Estonian Genome Bank, maybe there's room for using the data in this bank for some analysis in India and use this platform for identification better the health risks of Indian people. But let me end with stating that me ab sabku gliast fokamya conference ki shukamnai tetahum. I need to read it, so. But in English, I wish you a very fruitful and informative conference. So, Tanyamat, thank you.
Thank you, sir. It was great pleasure listening to you about healthcare in Estonia. Now I would like to invite Mr. Amit Saroj to give vote of thanks.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Having worked on the other side of the meetings industry for so many years, it's a pleasure to be standing on the right side of the dignitaries on the dais today. Thank you, Dr. Singh, for this. Some of you who may not know about InnoHEALTH, this is the second edition of the InnoHEALTH conference, and the response that we've got so far has been overwhelming. So I have a long list to thank people, and I'll be running a quick PPT along with my thank you for everyone. So I want to start with all the guests on the dais. Unfortunately, Mr. Kant could not join us in time, but we will have his speech maybe post the tea break. I want to thank everyone on the dais for taking out time for this important session. We value your time, and thank you so much, sir, for joining us for this conference. I want to thank all the speakers who have helped us in developing a very good agenda for the next 2 days, which all of us will experience, and I'm very sure that it will be useful for everyone. We have a huge list, so I'll just quickly run through the slides. I want to especially thank all the international speakers who have traveled from overseas to be a part of this conference. I want to make a special mention for Dr. Rajiv Tandon. I'm not too sure if he's here, but he has been part of the advisory committee for the agenda of the conference. I'd like to thank all the sponsors to make this conference financially viable for us to run this year on year. So I want to thank Galaxy Healthcare Solutions, IBM with their partners, Medicia, and Xlytics, I think I got it right, Mobitel, Acastor, OnQuest Laboratories, Optimazer, which is a division from CSIR, and Eventus as the sponsors for this year. Please do visit the exhibition in the hall next to this one and interact with the exhibitors for any business opportunities as well. I wish to thank all our partners who have helped us in cross-promotion of this event, by virtue of which we have participation and also help in generating sponsorships for this through this cross-promotion. I'd like to specially mention Embassy of Estonia for being the country and the B2B partner, which is the event in the evening at 6 o'clock today. These are the number of attendees. I want to thank all the attendees for being part of this conference today. This is the number that I took last evening. I'm sure there are more. I don't know if we have all the people actually attending it right now, because in Delhi there are a lot of issues like traffic and people usually start late. So that's the attendance that we've managed for this conference. A big thank you to the jury members who have helped us in adjudicating the Innovation Health Awards. We have 5 finalists. Actually, there are 4 people, but 5 innovations, out of which 3 will be awarded tomorrow. So please do attend that session tomorrow. Last but not the least, we'd like to thank our own teams from InnovatioCuris and my team from Indiattitude, who have worked for the last 5 to 6 months to bring this conference together. Finally, I would like to introduce InnoHealth 2018 to everyone here in this conference. We have a special promotion running for the next 2 days during this conference. You may register for next year. The dates are 5th and the 6th of October 2018. The special price is only 2,000 rupees plus taxes. Please contact the Indiattitude desk for your registration, and the offer is valid till 6 p.m. tomorrow. Thank you very much. On that note, I wish you a very successful next 2 days for networking and knowledge sharing. Thank you. Dhanyavad.
From European Union to show their
Thank you, sir.
innovation.
Thank you, sir. I now request Dr. V.K. Singh to please felicitate the distinguished guests.
Good job. Thank you. This is to pamper you for next 2 days.
Thank you, sir.
Volunteers for next 2 days.
I would now like to request all our guests and delegates to move towards the hallway from the back exit door for a tea break. And please, we'll be resuming here at 11. Thank you very much. And please go through the stalls in the hallway. Dr. V.K. Singh's book is also available in the stall, as well as InnovatioCuris magazine. My pleasure, sir.
Once majestic,